Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Hello, friends. Welcome
Ew.
to Into the Twilight. We are here.
Yeah.
I am happy to report that the trees outside my window are, they're in their bag right now. They are changing.
Ooh.
I've never been happier, actually.
That's beautiful. I love that.
So even if it's not fall for you, we're overcompensating over here.
Yes. And that means the world.
Yeah. But I know that, I've heard from the streets that you are trying to summon it by becoming a gourd yourself.
Yeah, I am drinking so much pumpkin. So many layers of pumpkin in my coffee this morning.
Yeah.
Both in flavor and creamer. Because I'm built different, sorry. I can handle it.
Right.
I'm taking that Christian girl autumn shit seriously, okay?
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Another person who would be immensely welcome on the pod, should I say?
Oh my... Wait, yeah. Miss Girl. Listen, she's famously a trans ally.
Yep. That's the first thing that's required before being a
First thing that's... Yes.
Because notably,
Right,
we've
absolutely.
had Twilight haters on this podcast, so
Right.
that's not a prerequisite.
Yeah. She's always in, just embracing the Bella Swan depression autumnal era of life. I think she would be wonderful. I think she probably has a lot to say.
Oh my god, 100%. I would die, actually.
Yeah.
I love that. How are you?
I'm here. I'm living. Listen. I know we use this space to be like, let's talk about something we enjoy. Let's talk about something that makes us happy.
Sure.
And it is like the name of the segment, for sure. And I love that and respect that. However, I do want to take my time on this to be a hater, if I may.
I wish you would, yeah.
This is sort of an in memoriam for what could have been a happy thing and what should have been a happy thing. And yet,
okay.
It failed me at every turn. And that is RuPaul's Drag Race Global All-Stars.
Are you Tyra? You're not mad, you're just disappointed?
I'm both mad and disappointed, actually.
Oh, no!
Because the whole concept made so much sense and was very cool. Of being like, listen, there's a bunch of franchises. There's a bunch of people, like, queens in different countries that are not on regular television in America. They're all tied to, like, their own streaming service, for the most part. And so you don't see a lot of those outside of what is on the main stage of the US versions, right?
Yeah.
And so they were like, fuck yeah, let's bring a bunch of all these people on one show on main television. Or, Paramount, whatever. Still accessible to, like, a wider group of people.
Yeah.
And have that happen. And at every single fucking moment, it was like every queen from a country that was not the US, the UK, or Australia just got the can and just got the shaft. And there were no, like, efforts to make things, like, equitable in terms of language barriers.
Oh, good.
In terms of humor barriers. In terms of so many things. And it just felt xenophobic and racist at many, many moments.
Oh, Rue.
Which, and I'm grateful these queens got a platform. I loved watching them on it. But it felt from the start they knew exactly what they were going to do, which is what they did, and get the only queen that was from America to win the entire thing.
Great.
When you have 12 other people from different countries. And this is no shade to Alyssa Edwards, because I love her. I love her to death. I love her down boots, okay? But this felt very much like, we want to give her a crown, so we're going to make this competition so she can win it for sure.
Jesus.
And I'm so mad. So mad about it. And not to say she doesn't deserve a title or whatever the fuck, but in this environment where it literally could have gone to one of 11 other people from a different nation who is trying to, like, own their shit, and it just never comes to pass that way, is diabolical. It's absolutely diabolical.
I want to say that's surprising for this franchise. It's not, and that's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing because it's like, this is really the only television show, right? Like, this is the only real competition.
Right.
So I watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like,
at this point, it does feel like I'm in somewhat of an abusive relationship with RuPaul's Drag Race.
Exactly.
Because I can't not watch it because I want to support, but it also feels like a goddamn chore sometimes when it keeps doing this to performers that do not deserve it. Yeah. And it's just to, like, make a new show, make 2 new shows every year, and then make 1 billion in other countries, but not platform them in the same way. It's just, frustrating.
Especially when it's like, you are the most well-known because you have the money. And this is what you do with it.
Right. And it's also like, you know, there's a lot difference in resources in what people are able to bring. Obviously, a lot of people's looks are not, there's not a lot of sewing that happens anymore on Drag Race, right? And that's fine, whatever. It's just changed. But it's especially clear when people are bringing their own stuff, what they have resources for.
Yep.
And it's just fucking bananas. That there were no attempts to, like, make it an equitable competition across various different ways. A lot of people not speaking their native languages.
Right.
And trying to translate stuff into, like, comedy challenges or writing challenges or singing challenges. And it just felt very like, haha, you're all here, but you're not gonna, like, not like that, though. You know? It felt very, very weird to watch and uncomfortable and bad.
Yep.
But I love a lot of the girls in this season. I have a lot of new faves. I'm glad I was able to, like, see them in, like, a big stage in a big light and actually compete for, like, a lot more money than they even get on their own fucking seasons because there's disparities there. But it's just very frustrating that it just went it was very much like this could have been an email, which is not how you should feel about this program. Like, it does. Exactly. That's not ever how this should feel. So this is my hater spot. I'm on my hater stand. I had so much promise and hope for this, but it failed me and its competitors. IMO.
Yeah. No, I think that's important. To have a monopoly on representation.
Yeah.
It's important for us to be critical of it. And so it's annoying.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you.
Goddamn. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm here. I spent a lot of this week watching shows, catching up on shows that I've already talked about on here, like MasterChef Junior and Next Level Chef.
You love.
Again, I love those. I've already talked about them. So this is just a reminder that I love those. So I wanted to try and bring something new to this space. And my happy thing is that I got a new keyboard.
Yes.
I have been thinking about getting a proper keyboard for 2 years. And I've just been like, I'm just going to save this, and if I still want it, then I'll get it. Because I am notorious for an impulse purchase, and I've been trying to work on that.
Sure.
Well, it's been 2 years, and I still want it. So I finally bit the bullet, and I'm a sucker for a creamy keyboard, and I've never had a mechanical keyboard before. Most of my life, I just used the keyboard that was, like, on my MacBook.
Yeah.
And then for the last, 4 years, I had a Bluetooth, just like a very cheap Bluetooth keyboard.
Sure.
It still works. I'm still going to keep it, or probably I will give it away on my neighborhood free thing. But I was like, listen, I've wanted this for 2 years. I'm going to get it, finally. And I love it so much.
How did the clacks feel? Does it feel satisfying?
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, get that ASMR, baby. Yup.
I love it so much. I will say there's a learning curve to it, just because it types different, and I wasn't expecting that. Like, the response time to it is different. It's like so much more sensitive than any other keyboard I've been on. And that's not a bad thing. It just is like, it just takes some getting used to.
Sure.
So that's all. It's also so heavy.
Yeah.
But I love it. I don't know that I'll get into like keycaps at all.
Yeah.
Just because one, that scares me. But two, I'm not a fucking Twitch streamer.
Sure.
Like, so I don't. The ones that I got are fine. They're pretty and blue, and that would be what I would purchase anyway.
Love.
But it's great, and so far it's very nice. And it just makes me really happy, and I'm glad that I mean, I still would have liked it probably if I got it 2 years ago, right when I was thinking of it. But I'm glad that now I have it, because I enjoy it more.
Yeah, and it feels like you're like, yeah, I was right, but now I get to like feel good about sitting on it in that decision. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't like doing it.
Sure.
I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to practice it. One, because for the world, right? I'm trying to resist overconsumption.
Sure.
But also, it is a practice of, sometimes for my ADHD, the putting it into a folder is enough of the gratification. Like, that gives me the joy for it. And I wasn't sure with this if that was going to be enough. And it wasn't. I actually did want this.
Hell yeah.
So I will give the one that works. I have tons of school kids around here that I know will use it, because it works just fine. But now I get to play with my new toy.
Yes.
Which is great.
Hell yeah. I love this for you.
And it's very nice, which is great.
Hell yeah.
It just makes me happy. And I get to finally remove all of the bookmarks of like different keyboard comparisons that I've been thinking about for years, which is great. Because then they can stop recommending them to me.
Right. Like, I already got it. Thank you.
I got it. Leave me alone. Thank you. We have a little smorgasbord of current events this week.
Yeah.
Do you want to start us off with Movie Corner?
Absolutely. Pew, 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 pew. We got another Robert Pattinson movie news update. This man is booked and busy.
This man.
Absolutely.
So many movies.
Yeah. This comes to us from Rebecca Rubin at Variety. Thank you, Rebecca. In that Robert is teaming up with Lance Oppenheim to develop a true crime film for A24 called Primetime. And this is very interesting because this guy, Oppenheim, did you watch Ren Fair?
No.
Okay. I feel like you would.
No, I don't think so.
I think you would really love it because it is very wacky. It's like a very weird docuseries about working at a Renaissance fair, but all the weird
God. Okay.
logistical hierarchy things and kind of quest for business side of it. It's very interesting, and very has a very film sort of quality to it. It's not like a traditional docuseries in that way. It feels very cinematic. So I would recommend that. But I think this is a very interesting collaboration because Robert's a sick fuck in these cool projects, and I think that's great. But this movie, Primetime, is apparently kind of a To Catch a Predator type story of how a journalist does this like finding underbelly of crime that warps how television is done. It feels very like what's that one with Nightcrawler, that kind of movie. That kind of seems like the vibes that are here. So I am very interested in that. It says that Robert is going to be on as a producer, though I'm not sure if he's going to be involved in other parts of this. I don't think it's known yet.
It would make sense to me if he is producing this, because we have him listed as so many, like, starring in so many things that I don't know if he has time.
Right. Right. He's doing a lot right now, for sure.
But I'm excited. I love him getting in his production bag.
Yeah. Go off, King.
Okay. I was not expecting this. Friend of the pod, Maddie, sent this over to me on our Twitter account. There is an Instagram account called Continuity by Clevering, which is such a fucking mouthful, by the way.
Yeah.
That has posted never before seen on-set images from the Twilight Saga in the year of our Lord 2024.
It's like watching the Mona Lisa be painted for the first time. It's so beautiful. This is history. This is the great archival work. Where do these come from, you know?
Yeah. Apparently they're from filming Eclipse, which honestly feels surprising to me, because when I look at this, it looks like Breaking Dawn Part 1 to me.
Yeah.
But it's Kristen outside of the Cullen house. Just not taking anything seriously, as usual. And it is apparently this artist, Continuity by Clevering, is a hairstylist. And so I think I'm assuming based on these photos that it is specifically the color of the hair and not the style, because Kristen just has it up in a claw clip. But I just was never expecting to get photos from Eclipse now.
Yeah. Also, if you go on this account, there's another photo. This one on, like, looks like a fridge magnet kind of deal.
Yeah. This one is like
gosh.
Kristen at her peak here.
Yeah, for sure. This is like, yeah. It's so wild. It's so funny seeing these photos, because she's so baby in them.
And
also it's like, yeah, this is book. Yeah, this is like, I'm curious, because everything in here seems very wow. Go off.
This artist worked with Kristen on a lot of things with her hair, because these aren't just many of the different wigs across Twilight, but it also looks like Snow White and the Huntsman too. So like this era, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Bonnie Clevering.
Yeah. Go off.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
A lot of these are great photos. It's just this honeymoon one is killing me.
It's so good. It's so good. Like, imagine taking that photo and looking at that photo and not being like, yeah, that's a lesbian. Like, that's a queer woman.
No, literally. That is a queer woman about to go film a very raunchy honeymoon scene in Brazil.
Right. Yeah.
Oh
my goodness.
Okay. Please know that I am talking about this with my head in my hands. The October surprise was in fact Jackson Rathbone, Ketchup Boy, deciding that it was appropriate to talk about Jasper this week. This all started
Ketchup Boy all along.
It's Ketchup Boy all along. This all started because of a Variety article about Lionsgate. And Variety was essentially like, Lionsgate's a flop. They can't make a box office film to save their life. And Jackson was like, you know what you should do, Lionsgate? You should make a Twilight Jasper origin film. It's going to be great. Naturally. A lot of people were in Jackson's comments being like, hey, bud, love you, great. But please remember that Jackson has a Confederate backstory. Why would we need to put that into this universe?
Right.
And Jackson, instead of being like, heard, chef.
Right. Yeah, my bad. Let me step out of this one.
Instead of being like, I'm listening, I'm learning, this motherfucker decides to get back on Twitter and make a whole ass thread, starting off with, and this is how I know that he is participating in fucking Elon Musk's Twitter. He starts it off by saying, why do you think he's, quote, always in pain? You know what we need more media of is sympathizing with fucking white boy school shooter-esque archetypes in this world.
Right. Because we clearly do not have enough of that.
Right. We don't have enough of that.
God, I need it so bad.
There are, honest to God, this is like a 8 tweet thread where the first response is like, someone is like, hey, so is this account like really you? Because it's just a lot.
Like, it's the most please log off and touch grass posting I've seen in a minute. Because, and this is something indicative of something that's been happening for a while now, in which you see celebrities who are just desperately grasping on to the one thing that people know them from. We see this with all of the podcasts. They're like, hey, let's recap every episode of this television show that we did 15 years ago, right? You see this with everyone on the, B team of The Office doing fucking Cheerios commercials every year, they are desperately clinging on to, this is the thing that people know me from, this is people that love me from, and I am not doing anything since then, and I feel beholden to this character, to this show, to this whatever. And it just comes across so desperate. It comes across so, like, he is writing fan fiction about a character he played over a decade ago in a way that
Jackson,
is like,
leave this shit on Tumblr, bud. Like,
right, like, fucking open up AO3 with an alias, my dog. Like, what the fuck is this? You're doing this on Maine? On Maine, Jackson? Name? God, you're breaking my heart, Jackson. You're better than, I mean, maybe you're not better than this, but, like, just at least pretend you are. Like, goddamn, have some dignity and respect for yourself. It's
this
just
is the kind of shit that I read in 2009 on Tumblr, bud. That people were going to war for, like, going to literal Tumblr war for your character about. And I get it. Hey, bud, I get it. Yeah. Hollywood's in the trenches right now. People are going back to YouTube. All right?
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, it's bleak out there,
but
for sure.
But you don't... Like, Hollywood's at its worst. You know what you don't need to be doing? You don't need to be trying to pitch a Jasper origin film about someone who was in the goddamn Confederacy. You need to be going to get a job at Best Buy. Right. You need to be getting your ass on Cameo.
Yeah, for sure. Like, do the Cameo bit, do the, have a recap podcast, follow your dreams, bud, whatever, if you want to talk about.
I would much rather you get a fucking podcast right now, Jackson, than you talking about why Jasper hates himself, and that's why he joined the Confederacy. I don't need to fucking hear it. I see that shit on, like, I have Elon Musk blocked, and that motherfucker still shows up on my Twitter account. All right?
Yeah. And even just, like, logistically, right? Because people are always being like, oh my god, Twilight prequel, right? Or, like, if there was another movie, or the show, or whatever, origin stories, right?
Yeah.
That's all, like, in the fabric and the fan fiction and the canonizing of events in what would be, like, an ideal prequel or adaptation or something. In no universe is that a solo Jasper Hale fucking hero origin story. as a Confederate soldier. That is not one of the options that anyone wants and would go to pay money for to see in theaters to save Lionsgate from bankruptcy. You know what I mean? Like, that is not a universe where any of that would make sense.
No.
Or work at all. At all.
No, this is in no way an interesting film that people would pay for. You know what is, Jackson? What you should have pitched, what you should be getting and calling Stephanie Meyer about? Jackson playing in the fucking Big Short. Show him doing white collar crimes. Because that actually makes sense with his character.
Yeah.
Where's him with fucking Enron? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where was Jasper with the BP oil spill?
God.
Why didn't he stop that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that none of the things that you just said on here, Jackson, are stories that are interesting for a 90-minute film that's going to save Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Where are you, Jackson, and getting Vampire Academy back on Peacock for a second season?
Right. Yeah, do your part, bud.
Go and work on a different vampire show.
Yeah.
Go get on Law and Order. Go get on Grey's.
Yeah.
Go get a podcast.
And, like, I know this sounds ironic coming from people who host a podcast that will never let this series go, but I do need him to kind of step back and let this go a little bit, because it's getting a little... I'm a little concerned. When you're posting like this, you gotta have people in your corner, man. You know, to be like, hey...
Yeah, where's your publicist, bud?
Yeah, like, come on. Ugh.
You need to go do
tragic.
a refresher on your media training. And again, that's coming for people who have a Twilight podcast for over 8 years. All right?
Right. Yeah.
But you know what we don't do? We don't do ads for BetterHelp. So we have standards. Okay? Go touch some grass. Thanks. Okay? So we actually do have something to stand on. I forgot how much happened last week for the episode.
Yeah.
And then everything also happened this episode.
Yeah.
So, you know what these 2 episodes could have used? A fucking another episode to just spread some plot out.
Yeah, we're adding a lot of things in very quick succession. I'm a little nervous about that.
In case you
getting a little
forgot,
in the weeds
like I did,
here.
last week, in the New Deal, Klaus killed Rebecca again. Stefan dragged Bonnie into hiding all of these coffins. Rick died again. Damon dragged Jeremy's, wiped all of Jeremy's memory to have him go into fucking Denver. Oh, and then Damon and Elena kissed. That was You Missed Ugly. And I thought, my bad, that this is going to be a fun Caroline birthday episode.
She can never get a dub in her life. It's so fucked up. Like, it's so
Why
unfair.
are the birthday episodes in this show the saddest episodes?
It's so fucked up. My girl.
And I get it. I know that your 18th birthday is sad. Okay? I know that. I get what the writers are trying to say. This is the second time that they've done it. But stop making our girls cry on their birthday. What the fuck is wrong with you all?
I hate looking at it. I hate watching it. Makes me sad.
Stop. I hate all of the girls cried this episode. Elena cried. Caroline cried. Bonnie teared up.
Yeah.
I'm done. I hate it.
Yeah. Just because they're beautiful criers doesn't mean we should put them in situations where they cry all the time. It's not fair. I don't like it.
Just because these women are amazing actors does not mean that their characters deserve pain. All right?
Yeah. What about me? Have you thought about me and how I feel about this?
Have you paused to consider me for a second?
God. Unfair. It's so sick and twisted. I did love, the little, part funeral, part birthday party, though. I thought that was cute. I loved it. Because it's so cute. Because Caroline's like, fuck it. I'm still gonna be 17 forever, which fucking sucks. Which, yeah, dog, for sure. Totally. And being like, I don't even care about my birthday. And everyone's like, girl, you care about your birthday more than you care about anything in the world. We do need to have a party. And they do, the joint, death of who you were, but, new life birthday. And that's so fucking funny. And it's so cute.
I loved that moment. I think there was also a part where I think maybe it was Matt who said it, who was like, you've made your birthday, you've made it so it's the most important thing that we do. Like,
right. Yeah.
You won't let us forget it. And I thought that was really cute.
Yeah. So good.
I love that. I thought that it was really cute that Elena and Bonnie are like decorating her locker, because I forgot how big of a thing that is.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't even get to see it because fucking Tyler.
This man. I know you are, going through stuff right now, and it's hard to break free from that. However, you're really pissing me off. You're really pissing me off.
You can't just give a girl a bracelet and then make her so sad and cry that she doesn't even go to school on her birthday. She was in the parking lot. She left.
Special
Tyler.
place in hell. God.
I'm so done with you, Tyler. I'm done. And his whole thing this episode, by the way, the fact that like Klaus wanted Tyler to bite her, and I'm choosing to believe, for my own mental well-being, that because Tyler was so against it in that conversation, that Klaus compelled him to, because when he like looked surprised in the forest, and I choose to believe that Tyler's not that good at acting.
Yeah, that was interesting and confusing to me, because even like last episode, he was like, oh, if Klaus told me to jump off a bridge, I'd do it gladly. I love that man. I'd ride for that man. I'm also spiritually and emotionally connected to him in a way I can't leave, right? So like, I'm kind of in a really abusive relationship here. So the fact that it kind of felt that he had more of like a backbone in that, or like some sort of defiance on it, until like obviously that fell apart, was a little confusing but interesting to me, of like, okay, where's the line of him and Klaus in his mind, I guess.
I agree. This was very much a Klaus having a no good, very bad day.
Yeah.
It was very funny to see how many people were like just pushing him this week. I was just, the amount that like Tyler was already on Caroline's shit list before today, and then he made her cry in the parking lot at school, and then he fucking bit her, and she's like, get away like, I'm so done with you.
Yeah, God.
I can't have anything, Tyler. God damn it. It was wild to see, because I think, the first thing that I said a couple of seasons ago is the only thing I knew was Klaus and Caroline. So to see them together, this isn't the first time that they've met, but this is like the first scene they've ever had together.
Yeah.
Was wild, because I get it now. I get why people were like, they saw them together and they're like, oh, they're a match for each other. I don't think that Klaus should be with anyone. I think that guy should just be in therapy all the time.
Sure. Yeah. He shouldn't be on this planet, personally.
I agree. But the interaction between the two of them, Caroline, she's not afraid of him, and I feel like this is the first person who hasn't been afraid of him. And maybe it's just because she's dying in this moment, but Caroline just being her usual self of like, are you like a billion? Like, this girl's dying, and she's like, he's asking stuff like, do you really think that low of me to like kill you on your birthday? And she's like, yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah, actually. I mean, that'd be sick.
And he's like, damn, okay, fuck.
Oh my goodness.
I just, the interaction between the two of them, I really appreciated. And him just seeing him like being disgusted by Tyler's gift to her, that he has to replace it with something very expensive. I thought was really funny.
Yeah, it's like, brother, no. No. What is this?
You can't give her something from Claire's, Tyler. You're embarrassing.
Yeah, come on now. This is Caroline we're talking about. Have some respect.
I assumed that Caroline would still be with someone that, like, isn't a human, because obviously we saw that not work out with Matt. I don't think that Klaus is appropriate, because, again, he's the definition of a monster. But she's the first person I've seen him around that, like, doesn't give a fuck, which is interesting. So that's nice. I didn't hate that.
What I did hate very deeply in this was Stefan's fucking bullshit.
This episode... Listen.
Dude.
Paul and Nina, this episode.
Oh my god.
And I know the answer because I know CW. I know that they didn't have an intimacy coordinator this around.
Yeah.
But God, they should have fucking had one. Paul and Nina this episode did amazing.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch this episode with Paul, which is a testament to how good he was doing.
Yes.
But Jesus.
Like, he is in full power trip mode right now. Yeah. Because he still has, Klaus's family stuff. He's not budging on that. And they are both trying to out-peacock each other for, like, supreme control here. Which is affecting literally everyone else around them. And they don't care. Because they're like, I need to square this battle with this fucking dude. And I need to be better. I need to be big man here. And yet, that, like, obviously has a trickle effect that is very personal and very deep and very impactful of, them playing with each other in that way. And this whole conversation of negotiating, like, Elena's body and life to settle this fucking turf war is diabolical. It's absolutely diabolical. And to execute that on the bridge that Elena obviously has a lot of trauma associated with, and has a lot of trauma associated with not being in control of her body and not having autonomy, and always this looming thing of, like, being a vampire, right? And having those all intersect like that at the hands of Stefan for this fucking dude bro shit is so nasty.
I think you missed the most important part here, which is that he threw Elena's phone away, and littering is a crime. So add that at the top of your list.
No, you're so right. I'm sorry. I'm adding to the list of Stefan's crimes.
Littering is a crime, Tony. Please don't forget.
And especially like, stuff with batteries, like eco waste. Like, no. Like, it's an extra level of littering. You gotta dispose that properly, my guy. What the fuck?
Right. Like, you don't mess with those kind of batteries. That could, like, really fuck some stuff up, Stefan. It was so hard to watch, and for him to say at the end of all of it, your fear sold it. Yeah.
Just fucking nasty. And he was like, well, it worked, didn't it? She's like, but what if it didn't? He's like, but it did, though. So why are you mad at me? I'm like, I will kill you on sight. Stefan Salvatore, I will hunt you in the streets.
There's that moment right after it happened where Elena's still obviously in shock from all of the adrenaline of it. And Stefan finally shows his cards where he's like, destroying Klaus is all I have left. And tells Elena, like, I don't really care what you think about me anymore. Because he knows that as soon as he left, it was over. At least that's what he thinks anyway. And then this motherfucker has a phone, but leaves her on that bridge with no phone. Because again, he littered which is a crime. And no way to call. We know at some point Damon comes to pick her up. But it's like, my guy, you are just digging yourself further down this hole. You're going to leave her on the bridge where her parents died and where she almost died, but she didn't die because you found her and saved her. Cool.
Right.
Great. Love that. You motherfucker. I will...
Nasty work.
The only funny part of this, to me, was right before he did this and, like, kidnapped her, was... Because they were all, like, out in the middle of nowhere in the woods doing that funeral part for Caroline. He knocked Matt out against stone, and the only thing I could think of was Matt has been thrown against hard objects so many times in this show. Presumably more, right? Because he was a football player.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if in this show Matt turns into like an actual serial killer because of the amount of like head trauma he's had.
No, literally,
yeah.
I think
him
his
actually become a big bad.
Yeah. Like, at some point, the wires are going to cross in his brain. He's just going to become deeply, deeply evil. He can't take this anymore.
You can only throw that guy against stone so many times where he's going to have a significant amount of head trauma.
Yeah.
And he might have, like, he might not be the person that he was anymore. So, and that, it wouldn't surprise me that Stefan was the one who caused that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I'm very proud of Paul and Nina. Like, that whole scene, even though it was really hard to watch, I thought that they did a great job interacting with each other. I just don't, how do you come back from, like, how do you, because Elena at the end of this episode, when she's talking with Damon for the first time, presumably, since they kissed the day before, is still kind of like, she's telling Damon, like, you can't kiss me again, in a way that she's kind of still, like, holding out for Stefan, and it's like, what do you mean, girl? Like,
right. Like, this is your man?
Back?
This is your king?
Right, like, there were already so many, like, he's crossed the line so many times. Yeah. And maybe she's still in shock, right? Like, that could also be true. Like, maybe she just is not acknowledging what's happened yet. But that's your man? Really, Elena? Oy, okay. God. You're still like, I can fix him? All right. Well, all right. Nobody else is chasing after him, so he's all yours. Embarrassing. Embarrassing, girl. I related a lot more to Bonnie this episode than usual, with her being mad at Elena.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that someone called her out on it, for just rightfully expressing the fact that Jeremy did not have a choice in leaving. Yeah. It didn't change anything. He still presumably got on a plane at the end of all of this. But I'm glad that someone did it.
Yeah, like, I'm glad there was that moment of Elena and Bonnie. And Bonnie's like, hey, girl, what? You're gonna do this to him again? Like, fuck that man, you know, because he was, you know, dating his ghost girlfriends at the same time as me. But also, like, that's gonna fuck him up again, like it did the first time. You know? Yeah. Jeez Louise.
It sucks, and I know that, you know, they got a little bit of it when they talked at school, and he was like, I didn't know if you really wanted to say goodbye. And then seeing her at the house where she got to, like, properly say goodbye to him. It just sucks. And I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't support it. And I'm not a fan of it.
My sweet boy.
Just not. I don't like it. There were a couple of moments that did make me laugh this episode. I think one of them was at the start of this episode where Elena's still in her, like, boxing bag. Yeah. So I love that they're still including that, and I appreciated it. There was another one. I think that it was when Matt was calling Caroline a mean girl during the funeral.
Oh. Yes.
And it wasn't to be rude. They were just, they were just having fun, which I appreciated.
Yeah, they're being like, listen, you as a 17-year-old human, it was such, like, this was your legacy. It's like, you were creepy. It's like, fuck yeah.
So I appreciated that. I need to know your opinions on Meredith. This episode. Because her being a founder is wild.
Yeah.
Where do these people just keep coming from?
Yeah, there's just new founders all the time. Her character is very interesting to me, especially in relationship to Rick. Because there's still like this fanaticism of like, you healed so good. How did you do that? How did your body do that? That is scientifically impossible. And then now having this extra layer of being a founder and knowing about the vampire/hybrid problem is curious. I think too, this was another part that made me laugh, where like Damon and Rick are coming in to this meeting, and then it's like this huge party bonanza, and he's like, can't there just be like a regular ass town hall meeting? Like, why has it always gotta be some fucking parade? And I'm like, my man. I thought
why
that was
aren't these
very
ever
good.
just like in a school classroom or a town hall,
Right. Like, this doesn't have to be all this, why? What's going on? Oh, goodness.
And I related to it. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. And then also now her, like, ex-boyfriend, Lore, who is conveniently the medical examiner of this town. Interesting.
The way that he showed up, too, I thought was interesting. Because Brian was calling Meredith rude things earlier at the founders meeting. And saying that she was, like, quote, psycho. Which, like, you're a medical examiner. You know that that's not true. Okay?
Right.
Like,
right.
Don't be rude. But then she comes to the grill at the end where they're both day drinking and says that she just had a patient die. And we see that he's dead. So it's like they're trying to, like, did Miss Meredith kill this guy?
Right, and was dead by stake, which does not seem like he was a vampire in any sense. So there's, like, question mark, question mark.
But then it's like, so she knows about vampires. Did she have a stake?
Right.
Okay. And I know that Rick and Brian got into, like, a thing.
Yeah.
Like a little, like, macho thing. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Because he was very clearly human, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I found that odd. But yeah, I'm assuming that they're trying to play the two of them as, like, romantic.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to know, like, how many founders are there? Because I guess we saw, like, a super secret founders meeting, but then...
Yeah.
Can we just get a list?
Yeah, can I get an org chart or something? Like, I'm just a little confused. Just, like, who it is and who's who of the founders, Just give me a little info.
And not just any time that is convenient for the plot. That would be great.
Right.
That's all. I'm kind of craving a filler episode. We've had so many jam-packed ones lately. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that there's no, like, offbeats. I just, for the characters and also for myself, I wouldn't mind just, like, a chill one,
Yeah.
The next week's is titled The Ties That Bind. And just from here, looking at Rick and Steph together, every time that there's a photo of these two together, they just look like they're dating.
There's so much chemistry between these dudes. It's nuts.
It's just hard. It's hard not to see it,
Yeah.
But we have some amazing patrons to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Callista Lockwood.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Oh, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Bow, bow. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Jaylene Ivishkov.
Pew, 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 pew.
I have a lighthearted fanfiction for you.
Thank God.
This is... it was written short, so I get to read the whole thing to you. This is by the author Gilded_Lady, and the title is actually the summary of it, too. The title is Klaus is on Match.com.
Oh my God. Okay.
And this is, I get to read the whole thing, because it's 180 words. Stefan and Elena are curled up on the couch in Elena's home. She's trying to read Death of a Salesman, but it's clear she's not making much headway. Her cell phone rings and she answers. Caroline is on the other end. You will not believe what I just found. What? What did you just find? So I was looking on Match.com for a boyfriend, for Bonnie and Caroline. What? We both know she could use a good man. Anyway, as I was saying, so I was searching Match.com, and guess who has a profile on there? Elena rolls her eyes at Stefan, who gives a sympathetic smile. Who? Klaus. What? Klaus? Like the one who's trying to kill me, Klaus? Yes, that Klaus. Caroline pauses. According to this, he likes long walks on the beach, trips to art museums, and nighttime strolls. There's laughter from both girls, even more so from Caroline. Stefan says Klaus is a Match.com profile. Elena nods. Stefan says, what's Match.com? End scene.
Incredible.
I mean, according to Caroline, he's 1,000 years old. So I wouldn't put it past him to do online dating. But I would be desperate to know what is on his online dating profile.
Yeah.
Honestly, he gives me a little bit more incel than, like, art dude. But we'll see. It's probably like, I'm a Libra. It's probably like exactly like Tom Schwartz, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's like, I like dogs and paninis or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, friends, tell your friends about the show. And if you have Halloween costumes for your pets, please send them to our Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.